Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Just a Thought. I'm Joseph Tudisco, and we're going to continue with the seminar, Acting Like a Business. We are going to be doing session number 13, and it's going to address making a living as an actor. We've covered a lot of information. We've put you on those paths to get to a point where you can start earning money. And now here you are, agents, auditions, callbacks, and even maybe some bookings. Now, making a living as an actor, it's certainly one of the most difficult things to do. Most of us, most of you, most of us have a survival job. We all know what that is. If we're an actor, we know survival jobs, waitress, maybe working at home, doing some temp work, bartenders, part-time work. And that's good. I don't believe in the philosophy that you as an individual have to struggle financially to pursue an acting career. Now, it doesn't mean that it's not a difficult task. It doesn't mean that you should worry about making money as a survival job before the acting. That's not the case. Acting should be number one, and it should be the only pursuit that you have. If you have a job that does not allow you the opportunity to be flexible, and by that I mean schedule, to run out in the middle of the day for an hour and a half, do an audition and come back, take off days when you have to commit to a shoot day, then you're working against yourself. That will not help you at all. It will make things more difficult, especially if you have an agent and a manager and you tell them, I can't get out of work, I'm working tomorrow. Can we do it on a Saturday? Can we do it at 5:30, 6 o'clock? It's not going to work, okay? You need to have a job that's going to offer you the flexibility to go to all auditions and to take all paying work. Now, I'm not saying that you should give up your paying gig, your survival gig, to do a student film. I mean, that doesn't make sense. If you have a number of student films behind you, you should actually start to a process of weaning off doing student films and really concentrate on the paying work and the higher level of work. So the first thing you need to know is you need to be flexible. You need to have a survival job that allows you to get out there. If you don't get out there, then you're having a problem. You can't do this. You can't pursue this career part-time. You can't, I mean, you can, but you're not going to get anywhere, or on the weekends, or just during the summer, or while I'm on vacation. You know, it takes such a long time to get yourself out there. When you stop and you go on a hiatus for any period of time, I'm not talking about a week, I'm talking about you go away for a month, 2 months, or 3 months. It's going to take you that long just to get back into the flow again, because people don't remember you. People don't know you're back in the business, and agents aren't going to tolerate it, okay? I mean, you can go away if you want for a month because it's a vacation and you haven't had a vacation in a long time, and you let your agent or your manager know, that's fine. But you need to be available. Number one, flexibility in that work job. Number two, now I hear a lot of actors say, oh, I want to make, if I can make 50 grand as an actor a year, I'll quit my survival job. If I could make $100,000, that'd be great for me. That's all I'll need. And I could be very happy with that. Well, of course we can be very happy with that. But the fact of the matter, an actor pursuing a career cannot dictate or even know how much you're going to make at the end of the year. It's a job by job income. It's a dollar by dollar income. The way you make $50,000 a year is to make $500 and then make another $500 and then make $1,000 and then make $300. Unless you've booked a mega gig on TV that's going to run for 13 or 14 weeks, you can't possibly predict how much money you're going to make. So it's a job by job. And even if you do establish yourself as a $50,000 a year or $100,000 a year actor, the following year may not reap those same financial rewards. So unless you're a name and you're an actor and a talent that people bring you in, okay, automatically, or your agent just needs to mention your name, then you You need to do it job by job. Now, a few things that we can do to stay afloat financially as a person while pursuing our career is, as I said, you can have a survival job. As an actor, you make money as an actor, and we talked about the $5,000. 5% of actors make over $5,000, so it's a very lean pickings for actors as far as finances are concerned. But you can do better than 5,000. You could use that to add to your survival job to put you in a position. Now, one of the items that I think a lot of actors overlook, and well, I guess a lot of actors know about it because I'm certainly sure they do it, especially background, is unemployment. What is unemployment? Unemployment, I think we all know, it's to offset when you're not working financially. The government allows you X amount of weeks to collect X amount of dollars to pay you while you're not working. Now, as an actor, it's a little more difficult and it's a little more easy with unemployment, and I'll explain it. When you file for unemployment, you have to meet a certain criteria. And that criteria, I believe this is what it is. I'm not sure if it's changed, but you need to make at least $2,400 a year. Not a lot of money, but at least $1,600 of that money needs to be in one quarter. So you have to establish you have a bulk of your money in one quarter, and that you've also been working in the other 3 quarters, but maybe not as much. So you got to show a consistency of working as an actor. Hopefully that makes sense. Naturally, if you're making more, you're prorated, so the 16 becomes higher, and the quarters, the 800 and the other quarters, it's half of what you've established as your highest quarter. So it's 16 minimum, 16 in one quarter, 800 in the other quarter to make at least 2,400. So whatever you make in your biggest earning quarter, you have had to have made half the amount in the other 3 quarters combined, and that's how you can qualify. Now that's probably a very low benefit rate for you, maybe $60 or $70 a week, but it's $60 or $70 a week. If you're working a survival job and you're working 3-4 times a week, you're going to get yourself knocked out. Okay, so maybe it's not to your benefit. Because if you work more than 4 days in a week, you cannot collect unemployment. If you make over $405 per week, even if it's for 1 day, you're not entitled to collect your benefits for that particular week. Now, if you make less, and you work 1 day, you get a 3/4 check. If you work 2 days, you get a half a check. If you work 3 days, you get a quarter of a check. Now you get 26 weeks worth of benefits at whatever benefit rate is established. 26 weeks of collecting benefits. Now, the way that's established is, of course, let me just backtrack. It's 26 weeks over a 52-week period to collect those benefits. So if you're making $100 a week, you're going to get $2,600, but you can collect it over 52 weeks. And what I mean by that is if you work any given week and you make over the 405, or you work more than 4 days, well, then that week just gets put to the back end and you can collect it later on. You don't collect this week, but you have 52 weeks to collect the entire benefit. If you work 2 days and you're only going to get a half a check, well, then the half a week gets tacked on to the back. So because you work in that one given week doesn't mean you lose your unemployment. You have 52 weeks to collect 26 weeks worth of benefits. Now, the way they establish the benefits is anything you've gotten W-2s for, okay? Anything that they've taken out taxes for. And those last employers will be locked into unemployment for you. So if you're doing background work and you work for Cast and Crew, then Cast and Crew now becomes your employer of record. And then if you work 3-4 weeks down the road and you go to Talent Partners, well, then now Talent Partners becomes the employer of record. Okay, so understand, unemployment is a good thing to have as an actor, and I collect unemployment. I've been doing it for 7, maybe 8 years, 9 years. I don't even remember. But sure, it runs out, and you reestablish it every year, and you work it to subsidize your income as an actor. Now, the other good thing about it is that usually unemployment, once you've established you're an actor, they're not going to bother you about going out looking for work as a cashier or as a real estate office worker or as a temp worker or as a construction worker, because you're an actor. And what you do is you just need to make sure that you can come up with records that show that you've gone on auditions, that you've made mailings, that you've sent your headshot out, that you did answer the website casting needs, and you establish that you're looking for work, and they pretty much will leave you alone. And you can kind of do that. Now, if you're doing any print work or if you're doing any work that it pays you out of 1099, that is not money that will go to establish that money that will help you qualify your benefit rate or even qualify. However, when you work on that day, that is included as being a day worked. So you have to claim it as a day work. And a lot of people get confused when they get that letter saying, who was your last employer? You have to let them know that this was a 1099, okay? And if there was your agent or manager who did get that check, then it's through a third party, so that they know not to contact the casting or the production or the agency that issued you the 1099, because they're not responsible, because they don't pay taxes and they don't deduct money from you for unemployment. Okay, so if you're getting a 1099 that is not your employer, you have to let them know. They get a gray sheet, and it asks you who your last employer was. You can say you made such and such a money under a 1099, and leave it at that. Send it back. This way, you don't create any problems for. You don't create any problems for the agent manager or the casting agency or the producers who hired you for that job. So unemployment, and a lot of actors, I hear them go, I don't want to take money away from somebody else. You're not taking money away from anybody. The pool is there. And if you qualify, you're entitled. You're paying taxes into that. They're deducting money from you to pay into that, to give you the unemployment insurance for yourself. So don't feel guilty. You can get a maximum of $405 a week. That's $1,600 a month. So that's one of the ways to add to your income to keep you working as or at least attempting to pursue the work as an actor. Now, as we get to doing more and more work, the other item that does help us with our income is residuals. So. Well, hello, everybody. Sorry for the interruption, but my guy here, Ra, this is Ra. He's one of 7 cats we have in the house. He got himself into a little bit of trouble. I know. Okay, come on. Ra's going to be 19 years old, and sometimes he needs a little attention. So he just wanted me over there, but he's good. Okay, so where were we? Okay, we were talking about residuals. So when we do work, we get residuals, especially on, well, of course, mostly all on the union projects, commercials, television shows, films. Some of the low-budgeted projects, film-wise, it's hard to get residuals because there's so many loopholes for the producers that they can sell their rights to another producer, which could be themselves and different corporation, and they lose track of all those residuals. Even though you see it getting shown, sometimes you're not entitled because the producer has to break even before you'll get any residuals. So when you see deferred money, that's what that is. They don't pay you unless they make a profit, and most of the times they don't. I mean, if they make a film for $50,000 and they could sell it for $35,000 to some I don't know, network or some type of a program that does short films or whatever it might be. They're not making a profit. They'd rather take the 35, take the 15,000 loss and move on to another project. They do it for themselves, for the experience, for the exposure. So residuals come in two different areas. One is commercials. The commercials will give you the most residual return. The national will give you a tremendous amount if it's a big name company and it's running for any considerable amount. And the way it breaks up, it's sections. The higher populated the area where the commercial is shown, the more money you get. They all have points for different areas and locations, and it's so complicated. And they all figure that out, and you get checks for holding fees every 13 weeks. They need to hold you from conflicts every 13 weeks, and you can get residuals, wild spots. You can get reuse. You can get cable money. You can get network money. It just goes on and on and on if the commercial runs for forever. With film and TV, it's a little bit different. It's the amount of money that's made in the different markets. You will get residuals for box office, theater runnings. If it really makes a lot of money, you can get residuals for that. When it goes to TV, when it goes to pay-per-view, when it goes to DVD, when it goes to the Netflix types and all that, you get money, you get foreign usage. It just keeps going on and on and on. And it never stops. You're entitled to it. And I believe after you've gone to the big stage in the sky, I think that your family is entitled to that also. So the residuals, the unemployment, the work, your survival job, you got to find all these elements to put them together that can help you survive in your pursuit of working as an actor. Now, residuals are not days worked. In the beginning, I had problems with this. When you get a residual check, it could be for $1,000 or $2,000. Doesn't matter. It's not a day where you worked. With unemployment, I'm talking about. When they ask if you're available all 4 days or all 5 days, you get a residual check. You're still available to work. It's not, did you make money on this day? Did you get a check on this day? No, it's where you're available. So as long as you're available, you can make as much money on these residuals, and it doesn't count towards that, half check, quarter check, 3/4 check, or even the 405 mark that will negate the benefit for that week. But yet, residuals are included in the overall qualifying for the next benefit year. So it's kind of a good thing, the residuals are. And the more you do the TV shows, the Law and Orders. I mean, I got 3 or 4 Law and Orders. I got Sopranos. I got some films. So I'm getting a nice fair amount of residuals, but they do diminish over time. Okay, so what once was $400 or $500 every month, now it's $1.11. So it does diminish to that particular point. But I thought it was important to let you know how that works in conjunction with the unemployment. Okay, so I think that pretty much handles making a living. You just got to keep going. It's one job at a time right now, and you need to just keep going and just making sure you find ways of getting income to keep you alive and surviving, because sometimes it could be a very expensive business for us to be in as actors. But commit yourself to it. It needs to be a commitment. You can't do it on weekends. You can't do it just on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You can't do it just in the summer. It doesn't work. It won't work. For every person that can juggle that, there's 10,000 people that can't do it. So again, it's like getting hit by lightning twice. So with that in mind, I am going to conclude this session. And again, hopefully everyone is, getting some benefit somewhere, somehow on some of these sessions that is helping, and that would make me feel a lot better. All right, so again, I'm available for live seminars. If anyone out there is interested, just go to Acting Like a Business on Facebook page. I always say face page, but it's Facebook page. And shoot me an inbox, a message, and I'll certainly get it and address it. Again, if you want to see past episodes, YouTube, search Joseph Tudisco, Acting Like a Business. And with that, I will say to you, that is a wrap. Yes, epilogue. Back in the 70s, the TV shows all used to have, at the end of their 1 hour run, they used to have an epilogue, kind of like sum everything up. In this case, I just want to add in some information on unemployment that I kind of passed over. For you older actors, actors and actresses, just because you collect a pension and Social Security, yes, you can still collect unemployment. Don't be under the impression, and don't listen to people that say you can't. As long as your pension is from a different industry other than acting, you can collect unemployment. And that's not money that is applied to whether you worked or you made X amount of money during the week, because as long as you're available to work, then you're available to collect. Doesn't matter where the money is coming from. It's not a day where you're not available, okay? So there you go. And that was a take 2. And now we have a wrap. Thank you so much.